But in the very same week the report came out, two of the areas mentioned for preservation at any cost are placed in the gravest danger. It almost seems a deliberate and cynical kick in the pants for An Taisce and highlights the curious lack of power of Dublin Corporation as a conservancy body. St Stephen's Green, already disfigured, is in danger again. Behind this hoarding, 3 Georgian houses stood until just a couple of weeks ago, the same week that the Taisce report came out. Today, just a gap. These houses came tumbling down almost overnight, but worse may follow. Next door is number 46 Stephen's Green, and beside it, number 1 Hume Street. These 2 houses form the cornerstone of what's called a streetscape, which leads into Ely Place, and of which the report says that's these 2 streets, remain the only smaller streets of the city to retain their good classical quality largely intact. It is vital that no further intrusion in this small area be permitted. That's what the report says. Now, these 2 houses have just been put up for sale. If they are sold, there can be little doubt that they'll be demolished like their neighbours to make way for an office block. Perhaps if these 2 houses were privately owned, one might be able to understand them coming on the market. You could console yourself maybe by saying, oh well, greedy speculators, what can you expect? But these 2 houses are not private property. They belong to the Commissioners of Public Works, in other words, to the government. So you've got the situation that the government, or one of its civil service departments, is cooperating in the destruction of what is left of Georgian Stephen's Green, Taisce report or no Taisce report. After this, what can follow? Well, there are murmurings that Ely Place itself is in danger, that part of it may soon disappear to ease the traffic flow around the Stephen's Green, Merrion Row one-way traffic complex. Some tenants mutter about powerful influences and the casting of envious eyes on a prime piece of property for development. And since a lot of buying and planning for buying is done secretly, one may not know what is about to happen until a building is actually pulled down. Mr. T.J. O'Driscoll, the Director General of Bord Fáilte, has said in a speech recently, "It is now legal to demolish a building without waiting for planning permission." And he went on, "Having demolished, you have a strong argument indeed for forcing planning permission. One solution is to bring demolition under planning control, and this is being considered by the Minister. There is, however, a distinctly dangerous period until the corporation would schedule the areas and buildings for preservation." So what it really boils down to is this: Dublin, as we know it, could disappear almost overnight, as those 3 buildings in Stephen's Green have just done. Unless, of course, the corporation or the government acts. There are some purely coincidental smacks in the eye for the authors of this report. Now, this is An Taisce, a street which, until the one-way traffic laws came into force, was a quiet backwater off Adelaide Road. Architecturally, not very distinguished. It has a Garda barracks at one end, and it's the home of that other enforcement agency, the Film Censorship Office. But it's the trees that give it that pleasant air. The Taisce report says of it, "This is Dublin's only remaining example of a street designed as a single composition. The trees are an important feature here." You've guessed it, of course. The trees, or some of them anyway, are to go. Progress demands it, though the residents of this road are raising a certain amount of hell. Officials say that the trees are causing a traffic upset, and some of them, anyway, will have to go. The Taisce report lists almost 100 buildings of architectural or historical merit and wants them preserved. It does a lot more. It paints a picture of our capital city as we know it today. But at the present rate of progress, who can say that this won't be an archaic document in just a few years from now? Because although An Taisce can recommend preservation, it doesn't really have the teeth to enforce it. Who does?